Hello, 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 good people. Welcome back. It is day 9 of this beautiful lifestyle detox journey of mine that I'm sharing with you. Today we are talking about relationship goals, effects of the people around you. Well, I want to kind of backtrack that. This is something we often forget to think about when we're working on relationship goals, and it is people around you. Did you know that the people that you surround yourself with can make or break your success level? Now, let's get into this. Now, you know we've been talking about reaching our full potential, and we're in the last quarter of the year 2024. We got 3 months to go. And if you look back at all the months, 9 months that we've experienced this year, are you really satisfied with what you've accomplished? Are you really on the right track to where you want to get in life? What is your plan? Do you even know what your plan is? Do you know where you're going? These are some of the questions that we have to keep asking ourselves and checking our status. So we're in the final quarter of 2024, and I want to know if you thought about your circle and how that is affecting your relationships, and in terms of that, how it's affecting your success. We often know that it's important to surround yourself around positive people, but why? It's because those people influence you, and you have to know the difference between good energy as opposed to toxic people and bad energy. And sometimes it can get confusing because as we see on social media, especially a lot of these reality shows, there's some level of excitement that comes with being daring, pushing boundaries, crossing lines. But I have to say this to a lot of people who still don't see the difference. It's for entertainment only. If you are sitting at home and you're not working for anybody and you're not getting paid, you have to ask yourself where I draw the line. Am I somebody's entertainment? Am I getting paid for this? In your real life, you are not someone's entertainment. So in real life, in your real relationships, you cannot run it like you're living in a reality TV show. Even the people in reality TV shows have to know where to draw the line. So the power of influence. How do our relationships shape our beliefs? Oftentimes we run into situations where we're not sure about something. We may be uncertain, or we do feel sure about something, and we're talking about it amongst our friend group. And you bring up, I'm going to use a simple example. I prefer using a certain brand of body wash. And then everybody in the circle is saying, oh no, that one smells terrible. It smells disgusting. Why would you use that on your body? You were so sure of it when you brought it up, but now all these people are chiming in, negative, 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 negative. So now you're thinking twice about it. And then, of course, they're going to suggest what they use. And now, what is the likelihood that you're going to stick to that brand that you were using? Oftentimes, we're going to consider what they're saying, and then we're going to try it. Let's be realistic. We are often influenced. And even if you decide not to try it, you at least considered it, which is still influencing your thinking. You're at least going to consider it and look into it. Most of us do. When it comes to relationships, we know that sometimes we need someone to talk to about something that we're not sure about. And those same people, depending on if they're negative or positive, they're going to give you information that can help your relationship or hurt your relationship. So you have to be careful who's in your circle. Okay, so now we're going to discuss positive versus negative influences. And I'm going to help you have a better understanding of what's supportive versus what's toxic. So one example is, I'm in a relationship and I have a boyfriend. He's not answering the phone when I'm calling. Starting to get worked up because I had something I really wanted to talk to him, and I have probably called him maybe say 3 times. I've left 3 messages and he's not answering. Let's call him Frank. Why is Frank not answering the phone? I done called him 3-4 times and he's not even answering the phone. He's usually up around this time. He never takes this long to respond to my calls. Now, my friend, let's call her Jennifer. Well, let's say Jennifer is in a toxic situation herself, right? That's red flag number 1. Why did I even call her? You already know that there's a chance Jennifer doesn't have anything positive to say because she's already going through it. But that's my circle. So Jennifer says, girl, I've been through this so many times with my man. He probably with somebody else. And then all of a sudden, that anxiety starts to build. And then maybe even some second thoughts. It never even crossed your mind that this man could be cheating. But because Jennifer puts that out there, now you're going to consider it. So now you banging on his phone even harder, ringing, and now your messages are getting nastier, hinted with some little slick undertones, so that when he finally gets the message, he's like, what in the world? I was just probably, let's just say he was just sleeping. He calls you back, and then all of a sudden, the whole tone of the relationship is negative because of all the stuff that you said in the message. And you weren't even thinking about cheating, but because Jennifer put that out there, he's not in a good mood, and it's all because of you and Jennifer and Jennifer's influence. So that's just one typical easy go-to type of example, but it happens a lot still to this day. Another example could have been Jennifer saying, well, why don't you give it an hour? You've been calling him back to back for 15 minutes, literally. Give him at least a good hour. You left the message. Give him time to call back. What if he is taking a nap? What if his phone fell somewhere and he can't reach it? Like, there are still real possibilities. And it's not until someone establishes that distrust that you should treat them like they did something wrong. I always say to myself, I don't have a reaction to something until it happens. I don't base my thoughts or concerns or worries over possibilities. Things will cross your mind. We always don't have control over what may come across our mind, randomly. But what you dwell on can be something that sends things in the wrong direction. So you have to use your healthy coping skills, which may mean talking to someone who's a more positive person, more helpful, healing type of energy, to talk you through a situation where there's stress already there, so they're not adding to the stress. And a couple of quick tips to keep in mind is that positive influences inspire you, uplift you, excite you, motivate you. The negative influences will drain you, keep you confused, overwhelmed, unsure of yourself. Okay? Those are some really good tips. Don't pay attention to whether or not something feels different. It can be positive or negative and feel different and give you a jolt of energy. It's daring, or it's something that you've never experienced before. But focusing on the things that I said, uplifting and inspiring, as opposed to draining you or leaving you feel confused or unfulfilled. Next thing we're going to talk about is assessing your circle. How do you assess your circle? How do you have a good feeling about, how do you look over everyone that's in your circle? Kind of like examine or decipher who is toxic and who is not toxic, who is pouring into me and who's depleting me, who is adding to my happiness and who is taking away from my happiness or my peace. Here's some tips. Ask yourself questions like, is this person making me feel better when I'm around them? Making me feel like I'm really walking toward my purpose or working on my goals or building myself up? Ask yourself, does this person support my goals? When I say I'm interested in doing this or I want to look into this, are they supportive? Do they add some ideas, some tips? Do they offer some suggestions or some ways to help? Or do they try to take that away from me so I kind of stay stagnant and not progress and become a better person? Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is building a supportive network. This does not happen right away. I personally believe that it's really hard to find genuinely good people. It's like, I describe it as like digging for diamonds in the rough. You're going to go through a lot of dirt, grit, rocks before you get to those diamonds, but they are out here. There are beautiful, loving, caring, supportive people around us. We just have to make the effort to seek them out. And one of the things that you can do is look for groups that are designed or have the theme connected to something that you're interested in. Those are going to be people who are like-minded. And in those groups, there's a chance that you're going to find people that you connect with. It may not be the first group, may not be the second group, but life is a journey. And always remember that life is a journey. There are ups and there are downs, and things are gonna continue to go up and down. We just hope and pray that things stay up as long as possible so we don't have to experience too many downs. It only takes one or two really good people to be your network. You can seek out mentors or role models. That's through things like life coaching, which is something that I do. People who are advisors, counselors, what do they call, consultants, things like that. Those are really good people who can be lasting role models in your life. I have a tendency when I really get something going in terms of a goal, I get so focused on it that I kind of cut back on my social life and I don't really reach out to people. So that's something I personally have had to focus on this journey. And I'm saying this because I know I'm not the only one. I hear people talk about this a lot. Like, we really have to make sure we check on those people who are good to us, even if it's just a couple of times a month or every couple of months, whatever the case is. Depending on that relationship, you just check on people. You make sure that everybody's good, even if it's just a text message. But I think it's still important to make a phone call every once in a while. And that's something that, like I said, I'm taking responsibility. I had to work on that as well. I feel like sometimes we rely too heavily on text messages. And it's just something about hearing your friends or whoever that supportive person is, hearing their voice. So I hope that this has been extremely helpful to you all. There's so much that I have learned about such things, and it helps me stay balanced. And I think that's the overall theme of life. Even if you find yourself feeling lonely, it just takes a moment to open your mouth and communicate and reach out. If you don't have anybody in your circle anymore, look into a Google search of networks and groups. Reach out, connect with people. That responsibility lies with you. Okay? So please do that for yourself. Let's continue to work on our lifestyle journeys together. I appreciate you all. If you want to learn more about the things that I've been talking about, watch this next video that you're going to see pop up if it's not up already. And don't forget to like this video. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.